Too many thoughts on my mind, I can't sleep at night, so I just keep writing. I don't need no help, I don't need opinions, so don't waste my time then. I just been living online, my city don't show me no love and that's fine. Fuck local radio stations, I got more plays than all of these rappers combined. I'm going again, I've been going in, I'm fed up with so many things. I gotta just let it all out, I'm talking about the shit they've been talking about. Telling me I should do this, telling me I should do that. Telling me things about rap. Talking the truth and that stab in my back, they will knock me off, the game has been packaging.
I've been keeping it real, I've been doing what I feel. I've been out here trying to kill every beat, I know I will. Everything I'm working on, every night another song. They been quiet all along, they gon' notice when I'm gone.
Welcome back once again. No false finish here with the Hall of Famer Fletch and yours truly, also same year Hall of Famer Chris Jones. And as of this recording, XCW is getting ready to have their season opener, which currently due to bad weather and world issues has been delayed. But we had a recent tragedy. Fletch's uncle, Timothy Wooldridge, did pass away, so here for the next 5 or so seconds, we're going to have a moment of silence as a graphic will pop up, and start that now. Alright, so sorry for your loss, my friend, but appreciate it. As Vince would say, show goes on. That's right. And being that it's XCW's almost the season opener, XCW Glory, I thought, why not talk about Glory? Alright. And we are talking about the Glory Reunion specifically. Alright. March 25th, 2007. Do you remember what was going on at that time?
Yeah. So this is a pretty big time. As a lot of people know, in 2016, we had Until the End. And it was a farewell to XCW, and at the time, a lot of us were going on some new ventures. Myself and Hazard, going to work for a professional company as a commentators. I was doing some producing and some camera work and announcers work. So I had my hands full. The reason for the shutdown was not Void. There's a handful of guys that weren't going anywhere. XCW was home. But for the other select few, the Tommy Merrimans and the Corey Lees of the world, their plan was to move along and pursue the next stage in the wrestling phase, and that's to be on a professional level, to go to that next level, go to at the time All-Star Pro Wrestling. As time went on, things kind of, for those guys, little by little, all those guys dropped off when it came to their professional training and what they were doing out there. And me and Hazard seen the more and more wrongdoing towards the guys that we made stars, that we put in that position to to have that opportunity. Yeah. And I had no intention on doing anything XCW related. But on my personal Facebook in October of 2016, I posted just the XCW logo, and I asked, "Is this on anyone's mind?" And the response was unbelievable, and there started the plan of XCW Glory Reunion in March of 2017, and that kind of set the stage for what was happening. There were some ups and downs between that time to get to Glory. As a matter of fact, we had owned a ring. We paid in cash for this ring from the guys that we were working for on the independents. And those guys were going to buy the ring back from us after the closing of XCW, and instead of paying us back, they took the ring and the money wasn't paid back. So we were like, well, we're going to get the ring back. Those things didn't happen. Luckily, the owner of the opposing company here in Shelbyville, the independent company, let us rent the ring out for Reunion Glory until our ring came in the end of March. So that kind of sets the stage for Reunion.
Shout out to Damien Cole.
Yes.
Mike.
He hasn't had too many kind things to say about us since then, for some reason. As a matter of fact, as of this recording, literally just within the last week, one of his cronies had to get on there and badmouth DJ Wolbert. Not sure what the falling out is or what the issue is, but
I'm just slightly confused. It seems like DJ draws the most heat from like any of our superstars that have been in XCW. DJ keeps attracting all the...
apparently, yeah.
But we're going to jump right into it. So you said it was kind of ups and downs, but nonetheless, you decided to start off this show with a banger.
I did.
And I'm talking about Corey Lee facing off against Genocide, James Cerebral, Brandon Hobbs, Tommy Merriman, and myself in a ladder match for the international title. And after this really rough match, Corey Lee managed to gain that gold. What was going on at this time? Because Genocide was the champ.
He was.
Before this or something.
So this is another one of those up and downs. Between the months of, I want to say October, when I originally posted that, until around the early March, Genocide was completely uncontactable. To the point where there's people trying to track him down in his work and knocking on his door, and he wasn't speaking to anyone. And there was a little bit of concern on our end if Genocide was going to continue, and I kind of left it up to all the superstars that if they want to come back, they can. If they don't, we're going to create new stars and we're going to continue to roll forward.
Yeah.
As you can see at the beginning of the episode, even JJ was alongside Alexander Smith on the announcing table, and I wanted to spark. I wanted to have people there that wanted to be there and that they wanted to ride off into the sunset after the events of what happened until the end. I totally 100% understood. So it just came to a matter of that. So, I mean, even at the top of the show, we had, like I said, Alexander was a new face. And then we also had myself come out at the beginning of the show, and Austin Chaos did the attack.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that gave that spark that anything could happen. And the reason that we did this ladder match was we wanted to start off big. Austin Chaos's return, followed by a huge ladder match involving some of the biggest stars. And for the fact that at that point in time, we didn't even have an XCW champion, and we knew that all men were going to be involved. This was the only way that we could kick the show off in a big way.
Yeah. And
that's exactly what we did. But with Genocide being on the outside and us not being able to talk to him much, it put us in a very awkward situation where we're like, hey, we don't have a way to get a new contender. We didn't have him necessarily in a feud with anyone, so it's a matter of what happens next.
Yeah.
So the only thing we could do is put some of the biggest stars that we could into a single match and make things happen, and that's exactly what we did. We put all these men together in a single match to try to create a champion. And the night before, if you remember, we had a Hall of Fame ceremony.
Yeah.
And Genocide would announce his retirement.
Yeah, because I've inducted Genocide, I think.
But by then, we'd already had something in place.
Yeah.
We knew that Genocide was going to be coming back. And this was kind of a nod to the storyline that we had going out in XCW of team with Genocide and
Hello?
Emily Moore
yeah.
and how they were coming together against each other in the royalty. And so Genocide does his retirement. He tries to come into the match, and Emily tries to stop him.
Yeah.
So it was all a big ploy to try to keep people drawn in. Well, there's a new champion. Then Genocide pulls himself into the match, and then Emily once again pulls the royalty card, and storylines kick back into high gear.
Yeah. Well, like I said, ultimately leading with Corey Lee prevailing in this match. But I don't know if you want to call this a continuance to that match, but that wasn't all for Chris Jones for the night, was it?
It wasn't.
Next off, impromptu match, Chris Jones versus Austin Chaos. And me being the snaky snake that I am, managed to get the one up on my good buddy Austin.
That's right. This was kind of a nod to, at that point in time, you were planning on making the exit from XCW. So we had to we wanted to come up with something that gave you that proper nod. And one of the biggest things today that you had done, two things come to mind immediately: Untouchables
Yeah.
and EVW. And you and Austin were very close, with the exception of James Cerebral. Those two names are the top names.
Yeah.
When it pertains to EVW. So you suggested Austin's going to be there. Should be me and Austin. You even made a phone call, and in comes the Gabe, and it made for a hell of a match.
Ultimately, end of the match, Gabe interfering, making the choice to hit Austin. 1, 2, 3. I get the win. Supposed to be my exit, but as we know down the road, thanks to Big Rod, it's not really how it ended up being.
Yeah.
Next, we had Venom. Rising star Venom at the time, not the monster we know him to be these days, but Venom being accompanied by Ivy, facing off against someone you know really well for some reason in Nightmare.
Yes.
And not just a normal match, in a casket match.
This was probably coming out. Looking back on Reunion, I think this had the most interest when it comes to storytelling. This was built pretty high on our Facebook page at the time. This Venom had been an established star. He was tag team partners with James Gerke at the end of 2016. We knew that James Gerke wasn't going to continue with XCW past until the end, and we knew that he wasn't going to be participating in the reunion. So we're like, hey, we need a new spark. We need something new for this monster, this Venom. We have nothing. And he was kind of taking a different persona, more of a darker, dominating superstar. And he suggested maybe he took on a manager. He never really spoke or cut any promos with James Gerke because all the mic was dealt with James Gerke.
Yeah.
So he wasn't real comfortable. We weren't real comfortable of having him cut promos. So we put him with a handler, Ivy.
Yep.
And he called out the biggest dark side superstar he possibly could. And the first name to come to mind in that point, and you couldn't have a reunion without him.
Nope.
The Dark Angel Nightmare. And it told a hell of a story for most of the match, but things quickly went downhill in the middle. And a misread on a belly-to-belly suplex ended with a pretty serious injury.
I remember this, yeah.
And since we're breaking kayfabe here on No False Finish, myself as Nightmare and Under the Mask, it was pretty unfortunate because I was also the XCW Tag Team Champion as myself, Fletch, and I had to participate later in the night, and things kind of went south on the show after that because of this injury. But it still had some good nostalgia. Nightmare being in the match, Devil popped out of the casket at a certain point.
Yeah.
And ultimately, Venom gets the nod, defeats Nightmare, becomes this new dominant superstar, and and Nightmare and Devil right into the sunset.
I believe also Venom after this show, doesn't he start a program with Corey Lee? That
Not immediately, but eventually, yes, into the summer, yeah. They had a match at SummerMania. I think after this started the, I want to say it was the New Age Championship Tournament. So,
okay, makes sense. Yeah.
Venom participated in that and had a match with DJ and some other guys.
One more before the break. One of my personal favorite superstars, LOL facing off. That is my personal favorite.
Yes.
Not MILF Hunter they facing off against, but LOL and MILF Hunter facing off in a match I don't know. Something about something about MILF Hunter and LOL's mom. I remember some type of promo, but LOL walks out victorious. Explain this to me.
Well, it's a reunion, so we wanted to try to get as many past names into the show as we possibly could. We signed up MILF Hunter for kind of a short-term deal for 2017. Last time he was seen in XCW, he was playing his Phantom gimmick. So we wanted to reintroduce MILF Hunter into the XCW fold and, put him with a character that is more comedic and is going to have... it's not going to be a clash with LOL. If we thought that would be a good pairing, we knew that the man under the mask could be able to handle a less seasoned, and let's just be honest, not good MILF Hunter. So this was a big opportunity to have a name on the card without trying to provide a 5-star match.
Gotcha. All right, with that, we're going to go to our commercial break, and we'll be right back.
It's the last time that I ask why. I'm overlooked and I'm passed by. You can't grasp my shit, that's fine. Can't see the truth through glass eyes. You're half blind, in fact I'm on my way to the back nine. I'm coming out swinging the man on a mission and breaking new ground like a landmine. Can't stop my ambitions, can't stop my commitment. My very existence is winning the game. Every minute I'm giving, I'm thinking of living the different. You live it the same, a vivid display. What are you thinking? I'm building the vision, you're thinking the grave. I'm in a position to have an opinion. Don't need your permission to give it away. Give it a rest, this is the end. You cannot prevent what you're fighting against. We live in this shit, we didn't pretend. With the percentage you'll never forget. Look at the math, look at what's left. You can't represent what you couldn't accept. Since the beginning I knew you were ignorant. That is the difference you can't understand. What would you do with nothing to lose? Nothing to live for but something to prove. You don't have a clue, you got it confused. You couldn't walk 20 steps in our shoes. Every minute you're talking for you. Can't run from the truth, it's coming for you. We are the many and you are the few. We are the future. In a new way, the future brings a new game. A view change, a crusade. It's a journey to the new age. So you may want to take this time to pack a suitcase. We're coming, you're going, cause we are the chosen. Yeah, this is our moment, you're too late. That's it, I have spoken, I told you it's hopeless. You thought I was joking, but when did I laugh? The smile you noticed was me overflowing from joy and emotion from ending the past. Sending it back like something was open, like something was broken. It went in the trash. Game one is over, the future's approaching. The embers are glowing, we're spreading the ash. We're flipping the script, spinning the shit. You've been a victim, 6 in the kick. You finished the 10, I'm swinging the miss. You're dead in the wind cause your wings have been clipped. We're giving it lift, you're wishing you did. You're stuck in the middle and sinking again. You are the end, we are where it begins. We are the
here, baby. Oh, my Lord.
Who's the other guy?
We got Chris Jones. We got Will, too. Chris Jones takes his matches
Colorado
serious.
tie-up. Chris Jones with the arm wringer.
Oh!
Wrenching that arm. Shots to the arm. He's trying to tighten up that arm muscle up there.
Oh, yeah. He gets a little bit of his own medicine.
You see? Oh, rolls out of it. Dip up.
You ain't...
Back to the arm drag.
Oh, man.
Back to the arm. Oh.
Big surprise.
To the, oh, sit down DDT.
The accolade.
Oh,
Rough Rider, exactly. Oh, my Lanta.
Busting their ass in that ring.
Oh, they are.
Bulldog.
Ooh, a favorite of Austin Chaos.
Jones with the kick out.
S.3 that hits
Off the ropes.
Hits the ring, it's done. Whoa! Unbelievable!
Who is
The
this?
game! The game!
Who is this?
The game!
Who is
the
this?
EBW! Oh my Lord!
Who is this guy?
He's the Gabe. He was an old manager of EBW. He was the Chris Jones' right-hand man. Oh my Jesus!
He looks like he's got a decision to make. Oh, he just laid out Chaos.
On Austin Chaos chooses Chris Jones. Chooses his EB. Oh my Lord! He got the EBW shirt on too. That is it, ladies and gentlemen.
And we're back. And very disappointing superstar coming up because he had so much potential, but he never took care of himself. A guy in this next match, we have Billy Nova, guy with an extreme amount of potential, but was never able to capitalize, stay consistent. But Billy Nova against John Streets. I love John Streets too. I don't even know why, but I love John Streets. And Dead Darkness.
What the fuck is that?
John Streets would be victorious.
No, there's actually a good explanation for this. So, I'm not sure if you know, but Billy Nova is actually full-time on the Independents now.
I did not know.
And he's doing very well for himself, actually, going by the name Leon Lux. So he's doing an amazing job on the Independents. Good for him, and that's the reason he actually left XCW, was to pursue that. I guess maybe he thought we were on bad terms at some point because he had deleted me from Facebook and wouldn't return any of my messages. But since then, it seems like things have smoothed over. He added me back.
Yeah.
We haven't had any conversations, but I'm happy for him. You're right. He was an amazing talent. As for John Streets, there's so much upside to that guy. I thought he was going to be amazing.
He'd take a beating.
Yeah, but for some reason or another, he just decided to give us the vapor treatment. And so that's that. But the reason Dead Darkness was entered into this fray is to keep tabs on both sides of the coin, considering Streets hadn't had a lot of experience under his belt.
Yeah.
Billy Nova was just coming back into XCW after quite a while of being out of the ring. So we wanted to make sure that we had Brandon Hobbs under the mask to kind of keep control of the match.
Yeah.
From what I don't remember much from the match, so that probably tells you all you need to know.
First of our many tag team matches of the night, we have the odd pairing of Evan Phoenix and Stevie Goble, going off against Aces High, but Evan and Stevie would be the winners here.
So we wanted to get as many faces on the card as possible.
Yes.
Being Reunion. So we needed somewhere for Stevie to go. Evan, this was his debut match.
Oh, was it?
Because in 2016 we had trained Evan and tried to get him prepared. And this was his coming out party. He was supposed to debut in June at Extreme King of 2016, which ultimately never happened. So we just thought the best thing that we could do for Evan, being, that he'd been trained a year prior and hadn't had any ring time, that the best thing that we could do would be to pair him with someone and put him in there with a couple of people who could protect him. And I'm not saying that Stevie Goble by any means is his protector, But putting him up against guys like Aces High, I knew that he'd be taken care of. And since Stevie's not exactly the most serious character, and you put him on the other side with Aces High, you're going to get away with having some comedy skits and getting your superhero over on top of that. So Stevie and Evan would eventually become tag team champions later in the year.
Which leads us to our next tag team match of the night. We have the Fletch and not quite so. Was he the Catalyst back then?
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Harris? The Catalyst Kevin Harris. Facing against, now officially, 2 Hall of Famers and the Dark Carnival with the XCW tag team titles on the line. Yourself and the Catalyst reign supreme in this match.
Well, this is kind of going back to the beginning of the show where there was some confrontation between myself and Emily. If you watch until the end, the main storyline going was Fletch kind of left, but was kind of booted from his own team of the royalty. And it was being taken over and ran over by Emily, Brandon Hardcore Hobbs, and Chris Jones.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was going to eventually lead to Chris Jones versus Brandon Hobbs once again. Coming off of the viewer's choice from the year before, your super kick and Jericho.
Yeah.
But
she took it like a champ.
Yeah. So you got the royalty was imploding.
Yes.
With me leaving the team, she was trying to pull things back together. She added Austin into the equation. Then you and Austin kind of had your spat. And so things kind of blew up from there. So to keep the royalty, to keep me down, yourself and Brandon would double team me, attack me, and I would get saved by none other than Kevin Harris, another former member of the royalty. He was a member of All the King's Men with DTC. So he made the save. We became partners, faced you and Brandon Hobbs in one of the final matches of 2016, right before until the end. And we captured the tag team titles. We had to do whatever we could to keep the tag team division alive. And seeing as that the Fallen was no longer a thing, Carnage was kind of gone, and he was in and out of the tag team division. We had no established teams at that point, trying to establish Evan and Stevie Goebel. The only thing that we could do at that point is pair us with the Dark Carnival. I mean, some guys that have been in XCW since day one.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, a couple bad things happened with this match. One, the match never got recorded. So there is no footage of this match. And literally, since then, we have had double cameras at all times. And I also barely made it through the match after my injury.
I don't remember missing this match on the camera.
Yeah. This match, the footage does not exist.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
But that's not all for the Fletch.
No.
The Fletch and Kevin Harris go on again. And they face off against Aces High with the tag team titles on the line. But Fletch and Kevin Harris cannot pull it out, and Aces High win the XCW Tag Team Championships.
This was a way we didn't know how serious the injury was. We knew that we had already had something established with Aces High and the up-and-coming team of Evan and Stevie. So the only thing that we could do at that point is drop those titles. So we took that as an opportunity to not have two face teams face off against each other, but put us in a position where we could get those titles to somebody who needs them.
Yeah.
And we also knew that Harris was more than likely on his way out. Good call by me there.
That's funny.
One of the many times Harris came and gone.
Semi-main event. This, I remember, built over the time between until the end in Glory Reunion between Hazard and Void, and they go head-to-head in a clash for that Extreme Championship with Hazard becoming the XCW Extreme Champion.
Until the end, 2016, Void knocked off Tommy Merriman, became the Extreme Champion. They had a feud going back and forth for a while, and this was kind of the catalyst, no pun intended, of what would become a Hazard and Void feud with epic proportions, where you've seen rape scenes and guns pulled, and Hazard taking a whole different style of persona, and it made for a really interesting year between Hazard and Void.
Yeah, and some, even people within XCW were slightly offended and afraid to show certain people certain Hazard promos, which cracked me up. I loved it.
Me and the XAWA owner Blackheart was talking about this yesterday. He has some people that within his company, the feathers kind of got ruffled over their latest episode of Worldwide, and someone actually quit over this. A big name in their company. There was a romantic scene between Blackheart and Mint Dragon, and they didn't think that it belonged in the show, and so they made their exit from the company, and I just simply said, don't watch my product. Because you're not going to like what you see, and this is the definition of that.
Personally, outside the show, I've seen the live action intro, so you said big name, and I'm very sad that I think I know who it is. So, last but not least, I don't know why, but there is a battle royal for the most prestigious prize. Well, I guess everybody has their opinions, but to the normal superstar, the most prestigious prize is that particular brand's championship, and this battle royal is for none other than the XCW Championship, with Brandon Hardcore Hobbs ultimately getting the victory here.
The reason we pulled all the stops for the battle royal is we wanted to make sure that, again, we talked about having that spark to start off the year. We try to get those people that we'd lost and in the hiatus, draw them back in. And we didn't think that having a long-term tournament or anything like that was going to be able to draw in people.
Yeah.
If you look at the end, until the end, I was cashed in on by James Gerke.
Yep, I remember.
James Gerke wasn't going to be continuing with XCW, so at that point, a new champion needed to be crowned. And then doing the Battle Royal gave us an opportunity to get some guys that you hadn't seen in years, an opportunity to be a part of the reunion show. You see names like Jesse Justice, DTC, Brendan Stickle. You even see newcomers like DJ Wolper enter this Battle Royal with an opportunity to become the XCW champion.
Yeah.
The reason Brandon Hobbs was chose, a whole new persona for Brandon Hobbs starting off the year. He started doing the werewolf gimmick. He had his manager, Valerie Vengeance, and so we wanted to take that. We knew where we were headed, and Brandon Hobbs and Tommy Merriman were on that collision course.
Yeah. And we ultimately know how it turns out. Brandon and Tommy, Brandon kidnapping Tommy's son, all that stuff.
They went all the way into SummerMania.
Turned out to be a very excellent feud. Now, you know what time of the show it is. It's time to play Dave Meltzer, one of the most hated people in the wrestling scene. Rate the show out of 5 stars. I will go ahead and say mine first. Normally I go after you. I'm going to say 3.5.
Ending a show in a battle royal that's not a Rumble style is not necessarily makes for a good finish.
Yeah.
It doesn't exactly give you what you want. The ladder match to start the show was top notch. The surprises of DJ and Brendan and Jesse and Gabe and Austin and all these names definitely gave you that oh shit vibe. They're back. So that was good for that. And there wasn't a lot of hiccups. I mean, there wasn't a lot of technical difficulties or anything like that. Like, the show went rather smoothly other than my injury.
And the one match missed by camera.
Yeah. I was getting there. The downfall is missing a match, having some new guys in the mid-card that definitely weren't ready, but and having a random Dead Darkness match. I'd say 3.
We're pretty close. All right, you heard from the man, 3 stars. Join us next time where we go to the second coming of Fletch Takes Over. We finish out Fletch Takes Over, no false finish. So join us next time.
Keep it real, I've been doing what I feel. I've been out here trying to kill every beat. I know I will. Everything I'm working on, every night another song. They've been quiet all along. They gon' notice when I'm gone.
Everybody wanna copy you, but they're not you. Everybody wanna be cool, but they're not new. Whoa, look how I go. Gonna be a dentist, I still got the flow. Never gonna lose, cause I'm still doing both. Never gonna lose, cause I've been on the road. Come to your state and I'm killing the show. Know that I'm young and I still gotta grow. Know that I'm working the most, know I'm never gonna choke. And I'm looking back down on the people below.
I've been keeping real, I've been doing what